What if one of the biggest threats to your heart and brain wasn't happening during the day, but while you were asleep?
Every night, millions of older adults go to bed believing their bodies are resting safely, never realizing that certain sleeping positions may quietly place extra strain on circulation, reduce oxygen flow, and increase stress on the cardiovascular system for hours at a time. Even more concerning, the body often sends subtle warning signs long before a serious health emergency happens, but most people never connect the dots. Welcome to Healthy Hub, your place for simple, practical wellness advice designed to help you stay healthier, sleep better, and feel stronger as you age. If you enjoy learning easy health habits that can make a real difference, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love hearing from you. When people think about heart health, they usually focus on daytime habits: food, exercise, medications, stress. But very few people talk about what happens after the lights go out. Because during sleep, the cardiovascular system goes through major changes. Blood pressure shifts, circulation slows, breathing patterns change, and the position of the body can influence how hard the heart and lungs must work throughout the night. And for older adults, those nighttime hours may matter far more than most people realize.
Most people assume sleep is completely safe. The heart is recovering, the body is repairing, and everything is at rest. But research suggests that stroke risk and sudden cardiac events often rise during the early morning hours surrounding sleep. The body may be still, but the danger is not always gone. While you lie motionless for hours, blood pressure shifts, circulation slows, fluid moves upward from the legs toward the chest, and breathing patterns change in ways many people never notice. Meanwhile, the heart continues working non-stop in whatever position the body remains in throughout the night. For older adults, this matters more than many realize. The cardiovascular system changes with age. Blood vessels lose elasticity, arteries become stiffer, and the body becomes less efficient at regulating healthy blood flow. Circulation no longer responds the same way it did decades earlier, and gravity starts playing a larger role in how blood moves through the body during sleep. The warning signs can be easy to dismiss. Swollen feet in the morning, heavy or tired legs after waking, nighttime heart palpitations, exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, frequent nighttime bathroom trips, waking up short of breath. Many people simply assume these changes are part of getting older. They continue sleeping in the same position they've used for decades without realizing it may be affecting circulation and breathing night after night.
One major issue is gravity. Veins must constantly push blood upward from the legs back toward the heart. As the body ages, that process becomes less efficient. Vein walls weaken, arteries stiffen, and blood flow can become slower and less adaptable to pressure changes. Another important factor is the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of blood vessels, responsible for helping arteries relax and maintain healthy circulation. Over time, the body produces less nitric oxide, a compound that keeps blood vessels open and flexible. As a result, blood pressure may rise more easily, and circulation can slow during long periods of stillness. This helps explain why blood clots become more common with age. Many people associate clot risk with long flights or surgery, but few think about the long hours spent lying motionless in bed. Fluid buildup also plays a role. Throughout the day, gravity pulls fluid into the lower legs and ankles. At night, when lying flat, that fluid redistributes upward toward the chest and airway. This shift can contribute to breathing difficulties, sleep disruption, increased blood pressure, and fatigue the next day. And all of it can be influenced by one simple factor most people rarely think about: sleep position. For many adults, sleeping posture was chosen decades ago based on comfort and habit, not long-term cardiovascular health. But the body changes with age, and the position that once felt harmless may no longer be ideal. One of the most common sleeping positions is lying flat on the back. It feels natural and balanced, but for older adults, this position can sometimes create unexpected problems.
When lying flat, the tongue and soft tissues of the throat relax backward under gravity. In younger adults, this may not cause much trouble, but with age, it can partially block the airway and interfere with breathing during sleep. That's where sleep apnea often begins.
And sleep apnea is far more serious than simple snoring. Studies have linked untreated sleep apnea to higher risks of high blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, stroke, and heart failure. During an apnea episode, oxygen levels in the blood drop repeatedly throughout the night. Each drop triggers a stress response inside the body. Heart rate rises, blood pressure spikes, and this cycle can repeat over and over while the person remains completely unaware. Many people wake up feeling exhausted, mentally foggy, or unusually heavy, assuming they just had a poor night's sleep. But in reality, the cardiovascular system may have endured hours of repeated strain during the night. Now, consider sleeping on the stomach. This position compresses the chest and forces the neck into an unnatural angle for long periods of time. It can limit the lungs' ability to fully expand and place extra pressure on the diaphragm, the primary muscle responsible for breathing. For older adults, especially those with circulation or heart concerns, restricted breathing during sleep can place additional stress on the body night after night. Right-side sleeping is another position that deserves attention. The science here is more complex, and the effects can vary from person to person, but some cardiovascular structures may respond differently depending on body position. Certain people with heart issues report greater discomfort when sleeping on the right side. Some research also suggests this position may slightly affect blood return to the heart through the large veins of the body.
For a healthy younger person, these effects may be minimal. But for older adults dealing with reduced circulation, stiffened blood vessels, or cardiovascular strain, spending hours in a position that adds even modest resistance to blood flow may not be ideal. One older man experienced this firsthand. He carefully monitored his health, stayed active, took his medications consistently, and still woke almost every night with a pounding heartbeat and chest discomfort. Medical tests repeatedly showed no major problems, but once attention shifted toward his sleep habits, a clearer picture began to emerge. He had spent decades sleeping flat on his back and snored heavily for years. After making adjustments to his sleep position and slightly changing his sleeping angle, his nighttime awakenings became less frequent, his blood pressure readings improved, and he finally began waking up feeling genuinely rested. Not because of a miracle, because of mechanics. That discovery led to an interesting pattern. Again and again, many older adults who reported gradual improvements in sleep quality, breathing, circulation, and morning energy were sleeping on their left side. Not everyone changed intentionally. Some shifted naturally because other positions became uncomfortable. Others stumbled into the habit by accident. But the pattern appeared often enough that it became difficult to ignore. At first, it seemed almost too simple to matter. Most people expect health solutions to involve medications, complicated treatments, or extensive procedures. The idea that sleep position alone could influence cardiovascular strain sounds surprisingly basic. But sometimes the small mechanical details, repeated night after night, can quietly shape how the body feels and functions over time.
One woman noticed this change without even realizing why. Her nighttime palpitations became less frequent, the swelling in her ankles improved, and she stopped waking up as often during the night. Even her morning blood pressure readings, which had always been unpredictable, became more stable over time. There may be anatomical reasons for this. The heart naturally sits slightly toward the left side of the chest, and lying on the left side may reduce certain types of pressure on surrounding structures compared to other positions. The body's main lymphatic drainage pathway also empties near the left side of the chest, which may help support healthy fluid movement while sleeping. Research has also shown that body position during sleep can influence the autonomic nervous system, the system responsible for regulating heart rate, blood pressure, and vascular tone during rest. In other words, sleep position is not passive.
It can actively influence how the cardiovascular system behaves throughout the night. Of course, left-side sleeping is not a cure. It does not replace medication or eliminate cardiovascular risk on its own. But as a simple mechanical adjustment that costs nothing and requires no prescription, it may be one of the most overlooked habits that can support healthier sleep and circulation in older adults. But position is only part of the story.
The second factor is angle. This is where many people unintentionally make things worse. They hear that sleeping slightly elevated can help, so they stack multiple pillows under their head. It seems logical, but stacked pillows often create a problem instead of solving one. When only the head is elevated, the chin tilts downward, the neck bends unnaturally, and the upper spine remains under strain for hours. Meanwhile, the chest, lungs, and heart stay completely flat against the mattress. The head rises, but the cardiovascular system does not. What actually appears more beneficial is gentle elevation of the entire upper body, not just the head. When the torso, shoulders, and chest are raised at a gradual incline, circulation and breathing may function more efficiently during sleep. Some research suggests that mild upper body elevation can help support healthier nighttime blood pressure patterns. It may also reduce the extra cardiovascular strain that can happen when older adults sleep completely flat for long periods. Another important reason elevation matters involves the vagus nerve. This nerve plays a major role in regulating heart rate, digestion, and the body's rest and recovery response. When someone lies flat soon after eating, stomach acid can more easily move upward into the esophagus, causing nighttime reflux.
What many people don't realize is that irritation near the esophagus can sometimes trigger sensations that feel surprisingly similar to heart-related symptoms: racing heartbeat, chest tightness, sudden panic, or abrupt awakenings during the night. One older man experienced this repeatedly. He woke several nights a week convinced something was wrong with his heart, but repeated cardiac tests showed no major abnormalities. Eventually, attention turned toward his evening routine and sleeping angle. He had been eating large meals late at night and going to bed completely flat shortly afterward. After switching to a gentle upper body incline and adjusting his evening meal timing, his nighttime episodes became far less frequent within weeks. Sometimes the issue is not the heart itself, but the mechanics surrounding sleep, digestion, breathing, circulation. This is why wedge pillows and gradual torso elevation have become increasingly popular. Unlike stacked pillows, a wedge support lifts the upper body as one continuous incline, helping maintain a more natural position for the neck, chest, and airway. Understanding the difference between head elevation and full upper body support can make a significant difference in sleep comfort and nighttime circulation. And there's one more important piece many people overlook completely: fluid buildup in the legs. Throughout the day, gravity continuously pulls fluid downward into the lower legs and ankles. Sitting, standing, and walking for long hours all contribute to this process. By evening, many older adults have noticeable fluid accumulation in the lower body without realizing how much it may affect them during sleep.
The body works continuously to move fluid from the legs back toward the heart. But with age, that system often becomes less efficient. As a result, fluid can slowly build up throughout the day in the ankles, calves, and lower legs without most people realizing it. By evening, many older adults are carrying noticeable fluid retention. Ankles may appear slightly swollen, legs may feel heavy or tight, and shoes that fit comfortably in the morning can feel more restrictive later in the day. These changes are often dismissed as normal aging, but they can have important effects on circulation and sleep. Once the body lies down at night, gravity changes direction. Fluid that spent the entire day pooling in the legs now begins shifting upward toward the chest, lungs, and airway. This overnight fluid movement may contribute to breathing difficulties, airway narrowing, nighttime congestion, and increased strain on the cardiovascular system during sleep. Some people experience frequent nighttime urination, chest heaviness or shortness of breath, restless or poor quality sleep,
morning fatigue despite sleeping for many hours. The body is not reacting randomly. It is responding to mechanical changes happening night after night. One surprisingly simple habit may help reduce this effect, elevating the legs briefly before bed. Just 10 to 15 minutes with the legs raised slightly above heart level can help gravity move accumulated fluid back towards central circulation before sleep begins. This allows the body to process some of that fluid earlier instead of shifting large amounts toward the chest overnight. Research has suggested that this kind of pre-sleep leg elevation may help reduce overnight fluid buildup and improve sleep-related symptoms in some older.
In practice, the routine is simple. Start by lying comfortably on the left side without curling tightly into a fetal position. Keeping the body relatively straight helps reduce unnecessary pressure on the chest and diaphragm. If changing sleep habits feels difficult at first, that's completely normal. The goal is gradual consistency, not perfection overnight. Next comes upper body elevation. A wedge pillow or gentle incline supporting the torso from the mid-back upward is generally more effective than stacking pillows under the head. The goal is a mild incline that supports breathing and circulation without straining the neck or lower back. Placing a pillow between the knees while side sleeping may also help keep the hips and spine aligned more comfortably throughout the night. Then, before bed, spend several minutes with the legs elevated on a pillow or cushion. This small habit helps reduce fluid buildup before sleep even begins. None of these changes act like an instant cure, but the body responds to conditions over time. Small adjustments repeated consistently night after night can gradually influence sleep quality, circulation, and overall comfort. One important thing many people overlook is this: getting older does not mean the body stops responding. It simply means the environment and daily habits surrounding the body matter more than they used to. Many adults quietly accept exhaustion, swelling, poor sleep, and morning fatigue as unavoidable parts of aging. But sometimes the body is not simply declining. Sometimes it is reacting to conditions that have been working against it for years.
Change the conditions, and the body often responds. That response may show up as less swelling in the morning, fewer nighttime awakenings, more stable blood pressure patterns, better breathing during sleep, waking up feeling more refreshed. Tonight, pay attention to how your body feels when you first lie down. Notice where the pressure is, how your breathing feels, and whether your body feels relaxed or strained. Those quiet moments before sleep may seem ordinary, but they can influence how the cardiovascular system functions throughout the night. Take care of your heart tonight. It works for you every second of every day. And if you found this information helpful, subscribe for more simple, practical wellness tips designed to help you sleep better, feel better, and support your long-term health.